Hey everyone, and welcome to the weekly roundup for Eve Echoes for the week ending the 22nd of July 2023. In these videos, I just go quickly over the news for the week and throw in at the end the dev Q&A. Now, this week, we don't really have all that much in the way of news, so after the Plex report, we'll be going straight into the dev Q&A. So, starting with the Plex report, as you can see up on screen at the moment, Plex is continuing to fall in price, making things just that little bit more affordable for those of us that are trying to earn Omega through gameplay. So, for those of you that aren't looking right now, it seems to be hovering around 4.5 million ISK, with, at the point in time this screenshot was taken, someone selling it for 4.3 million ISK. I really do end up jumbling my numbers at times. But anyway, as you can see, it's going down ever so slowly. Don't expect it to go racing to the bottom anytime soon, though. This is kind of what we've got to deal with. But that is the Plex report, so we'll move on to the questions for the dev Q&A. Now, of course, as per is the norm, I guess, with this channel, I have been having to obtain these off of Captain Benzi's video, because I'm not yet an official content creator, so if I want to get these videos up in a reasonable time, I gotta be a bit awkward like that. But anyway, let's move on to the very first question, shall we? The very first question is... Oh, and before I read out the question, sorry, it is worth noting that Nettie's Jamie Tiso, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, it appears to be the one who's answering all of today's questions. So, question. Are you planning to change the interior of the T4 Citadels? The current interior is very bland for something special everyone worked hard to achieve. The answer is thank you for your feedback. We have some ideas for providing more interior decorations, and even linking them with music, but due to limited staffing and its overall effect to the game, it is not prioritised on the development plan. That is understandable. Yes, it would be nice to have different interiors, but it's not necessary. It's not necessary for us to enjoy the game. And it takes me back to the whole walking around in stations feature that EVE Online introduced all those years ago, which is ultimately just completely underused because it didn't really add anything to the game. It was a cool feature that we all asked for, but it didn't add anything to the game, so it just sat there doing nothing. But anyway, that's my little rant about EVE Online. We'll see if that triggers off again in the next question or so and so. Question number 2. I've been playing since the beginning of the game, and I always have people asking what I'm playing. I say the best mobile game ever. They want to play, but they get turned off on how long it takes to get to T10. Can you please shorten the time to get to T10 to 2 to 3 months? In Diablo Immortal, they have a server level, and if you're below it, it gives you a 600% bonus to catch up. Do that or something. We desperately need this for new players. I'm not sure if that is the solution. It could work. I've not played Diablo Immortal, so I personally don't know anything about this. But we do need a way for new players to feel more relevant. We're not suggesting getting them in a capital ship within the first week of them playing the game, but we need them to be able to put in the effort to become more relevant early on and not have to just subscribe and not do anything for a year before they can do anything that we consider relevant. But anyway, answer. We understand that new players want to reach T10 quickly, but veteran players also have put time and effort to reach the current level. Therefore, we need to further consider this suggestion because we need to balance these two aspects carefully. As a T10 player who started this game 3 weeks into its initial launch, I would not be upset if newer players got to T10 faster. It would not bother me at all. I hit T10 probably about 2 years ago now. So, I've had my swan song. Netties, let people level up faster. You don't have to give them more skill points, because the benefit that I have over someone who gets to T10 today is that I've got an extra 2 years worth of skill points accrued. Letting them get to T10 faster by changing the boundaries between tech levels doesn't change the advantage I have over them. So I'm not really sure that I agree with NetEase's argument here. But anyway, let's not ramble too much. Let's move on to the third question. Question number 3. Do you plan on bringing back the Crimson Harvest event? On a side note, I do wonder if this person's been watching my videos, because I did a Crimson Harvest video recently for those of you that aren't aware. So do you plan on bringing back the Crimson Harvest event, where we get the boxes that hold the faction warp bubbles, like we did in the first one when the game first launched? Thank you for your question. We appreciate your interest in the Crimson Harvest event. We will consider bringing back some past content at the appropriate time, but we cannot guarantee that it's going to be the Crimson Harvest event. Yeah, I'm getting strong vibes here that the person who asked this question is asking it because they watched my video. I could be wrong, but yeah, we cannot guarantee that it's going to be the Crimson Harvest event. Why not? It's everybody's favourite event. Yes, you didn't monetize it very well the first time around, but you can monetize it pretty well this time around by doing exactly what you did with the super capital parts. The loot boxes that the Crimson Harvest loot came in, just add that feature where you can buy a key off of the store for real money to double your unlock rewards. Done. You can monetize that event without ruining the event, if that makes sense. They've got no reason not to. But oh well, we're all going to get upset over not getting the Crimson Harvest event back, I guess. Moving on to the fifth? Well, no, I can't count this morning. Moving on to the fourth and final question. My question is regarding the status of purple nanocores. Several content creators have mentioned that they believe purple cores will become something players can buy and sell in the future. Could you tell us the status of this? I think it's a great idea with all the recent changes to the game, especially since the gold cores have now replaced them. Thanks for all the hard work. Personally, when it comes to trading the nanocores and all of the discussion that's been going around in the content creator space since the start of the year, my original understanding of this was it was a understanding/translation issue. Because when the content creators started flailing their arms around and saying, look at this amazing thing we're going to be getting the ability to trade our nanocores, immediately after, we got the ability to exchange our nanocores. If NetEase was translating, if NetEase was communicating with the content creator, I'm really struggling to pull out the words here. So bear with me a sec. If NetEase was communicating with the content creators and using some form of translation software, or even just, translating it themselves by actually knowing English, whichever approach they take, there is the risk that the word exchange and trade got interchanged during the translation process because they are very similar words. And in this case, exchange is a game mechanic whereby we can spend a special kind of resource to swap our purple nanocore for something else that the game provides us. We don't trade with another individual. Now, of course, after this was stated to the content creators that we were going to be getting the ability to exchange or trade our nanocores, I wasn't a content creator at that point in time, but the content creators would have interpreted that as we can trade them with other people, not trade them with the system. And ever since, they've been sat on the fence asking, when are we going to get it? We've been promised trading nanocores. But the way I see it is, we've already got that. It was just a translation issue from the very beginning. But let's move on to the answer before you all click away. At the moment, purple nanocores cannot be traded, but they can be exchanged. This is going into what I've just been saying. We plan to open up more exchange options for purple cores in the future. We appreciate your support and hope you continue to enjoy playing our game. That answer pretty much just lines up with what I've been thinking for the past several months. We're not going to get the ability to trade nanocores. It was a communication translational issue at the very beginning. Exchanging nanocores is what they intended us to understand. It just wasn't communicated very well. But anyway, that is the end of today's developer Q&A session. I might as well call this a dev Q&A video, considering there's not that much in the way of news to share. But anyway, that's the end of the video. Is there anything I missed in the news for this week? If so, feel free to leave it in the comment section below for everybody else to catch up on. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Fly safe.